dead dragon? Who could have bested one of Rivellon's most ancient creatures?
I'd wager someone, or something, made mad and mighty by Source.
So we're on the hunt for something capable of taking out not one, but 2 dragons.
Delight of delights.
Do you suppose that's what destroyed those dragons?
How can I suppose anything with those eyes sizing me up like so much rump roast?
It's drawing water from the sea!
It'll use it against us unless we can stop it.
I've got my eyes on the prize.
Your flesh. Why, you're positively radiating. It's been years since a warm blood has wandered through these caverns. An utterly lovely sight. I know not. I know so little. My life in full I recall, from my earliest memories to my most recent sorrows. But why I should be trapped in this spectral form, I cannot say. I was on board a ship from Errata to Sicil. The night was black as ink, and the lighthouse in the distance offered us no aid. The ship's hull soon met the cragged shallows, and we were all of us lost. The thing I can least reconcile is that my own husband, my Samson, keeps the lighthouse. What could have become of him that night? My mind races with the possibilities. Gossipers, they nearly ruined me. In life, I was a natural philosopher, you see. A student of the stars. Errata, an elfish land not so far from Sicil, happens to boast the finest telescope in all of Rivellon. So I set sail, planning to spend several weeks there enhancing my research. When I arrived, I found an instant friend in the telescope's keeper, an elfish scientist named Faladar. We had much to share concerning our studies and found great joy in one another's company. It was a friendship as pure as starlight, but that didn't keep the rumors from flying. As the insinuations became increasingly vile, I thought it best to sail back to Sicil straight away and to introduce Faladar, my friend, to Samson, my only love, putting any and all foul rumors to rest. As you know, though, we never made it. Faladar is lost forever, and what has become of my darling Samson, I know not.
My gods, what is that abomination?
Well, when a crab and a man love each other very much. Careful now, that's a trap.
Fear me, I am Billigar. I will give you tons of scars. My tricks are known throughout the land. My rhymes rhyme nicely. Understand? Billigar! Ha-ha! You wish to know of me? I am the best, can't you see? Such tricks, such rhyming. The biggest fan of the tricking, rhyming, best Billigar man. Sad sap! You stepped into my trap! If you move, this room explodes. You'll have to stay till you wither away. Your only hope's a secret button, but since moving will kill you, you can't do nothing. Is the button red? Blue? Orange? Will you find it? Will you... Storange? Florange? Yeah, whatever. I am Billigar! Ha 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 ha! Don't forget, if you move from that spot, things around here will get mighty hot! Ha ha! Too bad you can't find my secret switch without moving from... where you're standing.
Even the would-be wizards inflict chaos and misery.
This one is like a wild turkey, strong enough to claw your eyes out, but stupid enough to drown in a storm puddle.
I wonder what that did.
A pirate's office? I would have expected to find something rather more exciting inside.
With the way this place is rigged, I wouldn't speak so soon.
The body stirs. The subtle slouch in its decayed shoulders suggest intense longing. A large, soggy chunk of flesh falls to the ship's floor with a melancholic thud. So this is what's to become of me, it seems to moan. A body with no head, a ship with no captain. Dejectedly, it proffers a hand. In its palm is a well-weathered notebook, only slightly sticky with rotted corpse ooze. You accept it, taking it by its spine with 2 ginger fingers. Your efforts at not gagging are most valiant. Nick's body grows cold, then hot. Could it be, after all this time? Reunited? Could it be real? Could it be true? Tremors overtake its hands, its knees, and then...
Toes, legs, arms, fingers. A bit more rotten than when I last saw them, but who am I to look a gift self in the mouth? Oh, the feeling of air in my minimally perforated lungs. Of, well, not quite blood, but lovely ooze pumping through my only moderately decayed veins. What a joy it is, my friend. What an absolute joy. Now for my last unfinished business. Pontius Pirate, the animal who consigned me to the peanut-crunching masses. I won't rest until his skull cracks beneath my foot. Despicable fiend. No wonder his spirit lingers in this cursed cave. Not even the darkest hell would open its gates to such a perversion of the human soul. He would tolerate no dissent upon his death barge. I dared to raise my voice but once, and his sword was through my throat before I'd even finished my plea. He lingers here, that much is for certain. I remember this cavern well from my days on Pontius's crew. This was the heart of his operations, the launching pad from which he massacred countless innocents with blackest sauce. There's a hidden passageway from his office at the cave's heart. It leads to the dock where the Black Widow, his ship, is anchored. There he'll be. There we must find him. Not quite, but he had in his possession a great stone capable of terrible feats of magic. With it, he fashioned a machine of war so terrible that none, neither king nor buccaneer, could best him. It was source magic within that stone, and the captain was drunk with the power of it. Drove him madder than a loon, it did, and it seems he guards it within this cursed cave still. Ah, dear Source Hunter, I've had years spent spouting poetry to numbskulls to formulate the perfect plan for destroying that madman. Our approach is twofold. First, using magic, you must charge the war machine that he keeps still perched upon the deck of his ship. Properly empowered, this machine is more dangerous than any in Rivellon. I'm certain we could use it to turn the tide of battle against the mad captain. Second, I both grant a privilege and ask a kindness, Source Hunter. I hereby give you my eternal loyalty. Summon me at your will whenever it pleases you. All the better if you summon me against my old enemy. I swear to you, once I get my fingers around his throat, I'll never let go. From this moment forward, Source Hunter, I am your most grateful friend. Summon me where and when you will, and I will rush to defend you.
It was Source that drove Pontius mad, yet it is Source that has kept Nick alive to fight his old foe.
Though we are sworn to eliminate it, there is more to Source than simple evil.
Despite any silver linings, Source is a dark storm that threatens destruction wherever it goes.
Fresh haddock! Perfect for a fire!
What's with you, bipeds and beer? No better drink than milk. Wait, Whiskers! You found my collar? Oh, thank you! Bless you! I shall don it right this instant and hie me to Maxine as fast as my paws can carry me. You have made me the happiest cat in the world! Indeed you have!
Your head's grown more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Scythial's ever seen.
My love, look at me. I am wearing it. The collar I told you about. The one you told me was but the fancy of a dream. Here it is. A band of jewels, such as no one in Scythial has ever beheld.
Dear me, that choker looks absolutely fabulous on you. Simply smashing. I can't believe it's real. Oh, darling Sam, you are a Tom of means after all.
That I am, my little tigress. Behold my true collar and marry me. Make me yours, and my very life I shall dedicate to your happiness.
Oh, what a passionate puss you are, my darling Sam. As impetuous as ever. But indeed you do seem to have the right and reason to be. Oh, I shall hold you in suspense no longer. Yes, my dear Sam, I will marry you.
With a word, you have stopped my heart and set it beating anew with untold vigor. Come, my love, my lean-tailed lady. By the fire of the hearth, let us lie and purr the night away.
And so Sam's story has a happy end after all.
It wouldn't have if we never found that collar. Maxine only agreed to marry him because he's rich now.
I'm afraid you're right. She's quite the little gold digger, that mare's cat.
To leave the city is to venture into
Son, you're
danger.
the way to my boot
Be
soles.
careful, Source Hunter.
Must be one of those skeletons. Must keep still. Mercy me. It walks, but it's not dead. I wasn't entirely certain I'd ever meet anyone any more fitting that description. The name's Wolfram, and it's a delight to make your acquaintance. Good to see, by the by, you don't belong to the Legion. 10 of their number accompanied me on a fact-finding mission to an ancient burial mound. But, as it turns out, they stood a snowflake's chance in hell against the undead. Not that I reckon my chance is any higher, though, especially with that vicious undead mutt prowling the grounds around this here ruin. I'd go so far as to say I'm in dire need of an armed escort back to the city, as a matter of fact. I'm an archaeologist and connoisseur of the undead. Because of my expertise, Lieutenant Selenia, a commander of the Legion in Sicile, wanted me to investigate the ancient burial mound just outside of town, hoping to uncover the source of the zombie plague. No such luck, though. Quite so. I live for the dead, so to speak. The combination of archaeology and a case of incidental necromantic magic is what sparked my interest in the field. Of course, I'll be glad to share what knowledge I have obtained over the years. Zombies are the results of vile necromancy in action. Among the resurrected dead, there are those who used to be wizards, and they can cast spells still. They slay their prey and bring them back as deathless thralls that fester with the diseases of decay. Should you encounter these menaces, always try to pick them off from afar. Don't let them get close, or they'll riddle you with the poisons and the blight that afflict them. These ones in particular, the ones around Sicile, are the resurrected soldiers of Brachus, the last and most infamous in the line of sorcerer kings. He himself is supposed to be buried somewhere around here, but no one knows where the actual grave is. Long have I searched and deep have I dug, but so far I haven't found anything more spectacular than rusted weaponry and shards of pottery. Be that as it may, Brachus' soldiers stalk these lands anew, and they still fight like veterans. I told those fools of legionnaires to bring maces instead of swords. You know, weapons that crush these skeleton bones, not blades that may ricochet right off. Hell, even a sturdy branch would do the job better. But they didn't listen, and now they're dead. Oh, and don't be surprised if the dead use an unusual amount of magic against you. These soldiers were loyal to a sorcerer king, after all. Dark magic all around. I'll never make it back to Sicile alone. But you've gotten this far. You can bring me back, can't you?
We certainly can. Let's be off.
Indeed. Don't you worry. We'll keep you safe.
Marvelous. Mighty fine of you. Lead the way, I say.
Nimble as a fox. kiss your flesh.
Yes, that's how it's done. You did it! We made it! Oh, cheers for escorting me to safety. You're a godsend, you are. I'll be in the King Crab, clearing the dust from my throat. The drinks are on me if you'd like to partake.
According to his diary, this bloke couldn't put down his dogs even after he knew them to be infected.
Who could bear to harm his best friends, especially when they only showed signs but no symptoms of turning?
He who would let infected beasts spread their sickness is a sentimental fool.
Lieutenant Selenia seems to have sent out some troops to investigate the lighthouse.
Keep an eye out for any survivors. Oh, thank the Seven! Lucia, it's the Source Hunter! We're not going to die on this haunted cliff after all!
Who's dying? We're just resting up. The calm before the storm. Those ghosties at the lighthouse won't know what hit 'em. There's certainly something fishy happening. The light shines sure as the tides, though there's not been an attendant there for nearly 2 decades. Our platoon made a pact with Selenia. We'd check out the lighthouse, and if we made it back, we'd get a ticket home.
What Selenia failed to mention was that it wasn't just the ghosts at the lighthouse we had to worry about, it was every savage skeleton on the way there and back too. When we started, we were 7. Now, Lucia and I are the last alive.
Survival of the fittest, I say. We're just here marshalling our strength before hauling into that lighthouse with our swords blazing.
Ha! Marshalling our strength indeed. To be honest, we've been shaking like chihuahuas, praying for a way out of this mess. And it seems the 7 have sent you.
Ah, Malleus, your dignity's in a puddle at your feet. As for me, an honourable soldier and servant to Rivellon, I'm not afraid to ask nicely. So, what do you say, Source Hunter? Will you check out the lighthouse in the name of your comrades in arms? If Selenia sees the place cleared, we'll be on the next ship out to Sicil and back to our families.
You'll go to the lighthouse and straighten matters out, yes? Well, let us know what you find.
The further we go, the more bodies we find heaped around.
We must be closing in on where they were headed.
Get there, boy! It's...
demise!
These walls, my home, my hell. I may have died, but my guilt lives on and on. What's this? Living eyes that can see the shape of death? Avert your gaze, wanderer, for you are looking upon the phantom of a murderer. Samson was my name, a long time ago. I know not why upon my death I became a ghost, doomed to haunt this tower. Perhaps the gods heard of my crime and stripped me of my rightful place in their eternal realm. If so, their punishment was just. Each night I wake the flame in the lighthouse to repent for my wretched sin. That indeed is the tainted title I must bear, and deservedly so. For 15 years ago to the day it was that I sat atop my lighthouse, the flame unlit, and watched on as a pitiable ship crashed upon the cliff and got devoured by greedy waves. Deliberately had I foregone to do my duty. Willfully did I condemn every soul aboard to a salty sleep on the bed of an indifferent sea. Why did I commit this act of blackest horror? Jealousy, anger, the bitter anguish of a broken heart. Those are the ancient ills that drove me to madness. Desdemona was on board, as I knew she would be, my wife. The delicate beauty of whom I was sure was betraying me with her friend, the dashing Falada. Possessed as I was by the demons of envy, ire, and torment, I decided that if I had her love no longer, only death could take her for his mistress. And so I sat here, coldly and calmly, as I delivered them both unto the deep. Yet no sooner had the water closed its spuming jaws around the perishing vessel below, that the extent of my offense dawned on my beleaguered mind. Overcome with guilt, I sought escape through the hangman's noose, but rest was not to come. Skeletons roamed the lands, restless as my troubled soul, but shall not find their lair here. Some scuttle by now and again, but most of the time I reside here in solitude. Solitude and silence.
Quite a story that ghost had to tell. Not every day one hears about a lighthouse keeper sinking ships just because his wife proved to be unfaithful.
Aye, a pitiful creature. Torn up so badly by the loss of love that it led him to commit murder. I almost feel sorry for him.
Sorry? The man killed who knows how many innocents for the sake of a sick bout of jealousy. He's a monster.
These walls, my home, my hell. I may have died, but my guilt lives on and on.
How did it go? Don't spare any details. We need to make a full report to the Lieutenant.
Now that's an interesting story. Clean the grit from your ears and I'll tell you all about it.
Don't let them off so easily. These gasbags shouldn't reap a single benefit from their cowardice.
Show that compassionate spirit I so admire in you, and help these homesick soldiers.
Cyseal will gain nothing from our swooping in and letting its legionnaires pack up and leave without doing their duties.
No, we'll do as I say.
So, let me get this straight. There's a ghost inside operating the lighthouse, and you managed to do away with the bad beasties at the base of the thing. Whew, sounds like a job well done.
And I'm sure Selenia will be thrilled to hear we did it. Another triumph for Legion Daring Do. And if this doesn't buy us a ticket home, nothing will.
I need a moment to reflect. It does feel quite good to give of oneself to those in need.
You've quite trended toward altruism, haven't you?
Back so soon, and so wonderful to see you. How you glow. He could never. You mean to say he left us to those savage waters on purpose? I can't believe it. And yet, if what you say is true, well, I must meet him in any case. To the lighthouse, you said? Fine.
Desdemona, my love, I should have known you would never betray me. I should have known your love to be as constant as the sky. Madness took hold of my heart, and with razor nails scratched murderous intent into its depths. And yet, look at us now. Not even death could impede our reunion. I beg of you, my love, forgive me. With but a word, you can heal my heart, efface the scars that lunacy left there. Forgive me, my wife, my own. Forgive me.
You've heard the whole story by now. Perhaps you can help me settle my mind. Half of me is furious, and the other half is utterly enraged. What do you think of my murderer husband?
Desdemona is under no obligation to forgive her murderer, no matter how sorry he may be.
Why perpetuate anger and rage? Desdemona should forgive the sorry soul.
I wouldn't forgive your murderer until I'd made him suffer for eternity. I'm sure you'd feel the same.
Do you really want two haunted, hostile souls wandering Sicil when there could be two peaceful ones?
No, we'll do as I say.
Right you are. This cur deserves no more of my forgiveness than the devil himself. Away from me, for good this time.
Heartbreak I have sowed, and heartbreak I must reap. Come, eternity. Let loneliness be thy instrument of torture. Regret thy rack. It is no more than I, blackest of souls, deserve. For it was love itself that I yielded to the waves.
I worry about seeing you in the next life, but I'm certain you alone will be banished to hell. Goodbye forever, butcher.
Warm as dragon's breath.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. Good to see you. My brave troops were just telling me how they proudly vanquished the undead near the lighthouse. Did you get to witness my valiant soldiers in action?
Yep. Quite the pair of heroes you have there.
Excuse me? We are talking about the same heroes here, right?
We get enough glory. No sense in trying to steal it away from these heroes.
Allowing these layabouts to get a reward for a job poorly done will only encourage others to do the same. Then who will protect Sicil?
No, we'll do as I say.
Yes, I bet legionnaires can impress even source hunters. Now, as for my two braves here, you shall prepare to leave Sicil post-haste. You're going home, as is your just reward.
Thank you, Lieutenant. All in the day's work.
Source hunter. A sight for sore eyes, if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success. Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command. But rest assured, I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, source hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. If ever we want to be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that, but so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation: the lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church. Places fraught with danger all. We lost another 4 brave souls. But I'm so very happy for the 2 that did make it back. They've truly earned their ticket home. There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them. My legionnaires, they all perished? How fate has treated them wantonly. And if it weren't for you, the archaeologist would surely have died as well. He has much to be thankful for. Were that I had. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition. So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home. The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Sicil, after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death.